Ambassador Kethavar's 4 eyes tracked the retreating figures of the human delegation as they filed out of the Galactic Council chambers. The massive crystalline doors sealed shut behind them with a resonance that seemed to echo through every corner of the station. In the sudden silence, representatives from 47 species sat frozen, their various forms of breathing apparatus working overtime. "They actually left," whispered the Zalari delegate, her translucent skin flickering between colors of disbelief and terror. The peace talks had been ongoing for 3 standard galactic cycles. The Hegemony War, as historians would later call it, had raged for 7 years, pitting an alliance of 12 major species against the upstart humans who had somehow managed to hold their own against impossible odds. What should have been a swift extermination of an aggressive newcomer species had instead become a grinding stalemate that was bleeding the galaxy dry. Fleet Admiral Vex-2 of the Korthani military coalition leaned forward, his chitinous frame creaking. "Perhaps we pushed too hard with the reparations demand." Pushed too hard? The Thraxian representative's mental projection flared with indignation. "We offered them generous terms: cessation of all territorial expansion, dismantling of their military-industrial complex, supervised colonization of only 3-star systems, and merely 500 years of reparations to the families of those lost in their conflicts." Kethavar studied the datapad, displaying the human delegation's final transmission. 3 words in their crude but efficient language. Terms unacceptable. Goodbye. No threats, no posturing. No dramatic declarations. Just goodbye. The Galactic Council had grown accustomed to the humans' peculiar directness over the years, but this felt different. Throughout the war, they had been chatty, sometimes maddeningly so. Their communication channels were filled with everything from formal military dispatches to something they called memes that somehow managed to be both incomprehensible and oddly disturbing to enemy morale. But now, silence. "What's the status of their fleets?" asked the Nexari counselor, her synthetic voice carrying an undertone of worry. Admiral Vex-2 consulted his tactical display. "That's concerning. All human military assets have gone dark. No transponder signals, no communication traffic, nothing. It's as if their entire navy just vanished." "Impossible," scoffed the Thraxian. "You don't hide 5,000 warships." "These are humans we're talking about," Kethavar reminded them. Quietly. "The same species that turned asteroid mining into a weapon delivery system. The same ones who figured out how to make a star go nova in a controlled fashion just to clear a hyperspace lane. The same—" Yes, the Thraxian interrupted. "They're clever for a violent species, but they're still bound by the laws of physics." 6 days later, the first reports began coming in. The Korthani forward base at Epsilon Reticuli had gone silent. When a patrol ship investigated, they found empty space where a massive military installation had been. No debris, no signs of battle, just gone. The Zalari listening post at the edge of hegemony space reported similar findings. Installations throughout their territory were simply missing. "Stealth raids?" suggested someone during the emergency council session. "On 47 installations simultaneously across 12 sectors." Kethavar's voice carried a tremor he couldn't quite suppress. "That would require coordination beyond anything we've seen from them." The Thraxian's mental projection flickered with what might have been fear. "Perhaps we should reach out. Reopen negotiations." But when they tried, There was no one to negotiate with. Every human diplomatic channel had gone silent. Embassy buildings stood empty. Even their notorious Galactic Net presence, usually a constant stream of cultural exchange, trade discussions, and those infuriating memes, had vanished overnight. The humans had withdrawn not just from the peace talks, but from galactic civilization entirely. Reports continued to filter in over the following weeks. Human colonies in contested space were found abandoned, their infrastructure intact, but their populations gone. The few automated systems left behind repeated the same message. Territory no longer claimed. Proceed with caution. Where did they go? The question hung in the council chambers like a toxic cloud. Dr. Yilth, the Nexari's chief xenopsychologist, provided the most disturbing theory. Based on our studies of human psychology, I believe they've implemented what they call strategic withdrawal. It's a tactical concept where you abandon indefensible positions to consolidate strength for a decisive action. Decisive action? Admiral Vex2's voice cracked. What kind of decisive action requires abandoning your entire civilization? The answer came 2 months later. The star Rigel 7, a massive blue giant that provided power to 6 hegemony, core worlds, began showing unusual readings. Solar flares at unprecedented frequencies, gravitational fluctuations that made hyperspace navigation treacherous. When the research vessel Prudent Inquiry investigated, they found something that defied every understanding of stellar engineering. A ring of structures orbiting within the star's corona itself, somehow immune to the massive radiation and heat. Impossible, breathed the Thraxian observer aboard the ship. Nothing can survive in stellar corona temperatures. But the structures were unmistakably artificial, and unmistakably human in their brutal, efficient design. Dr. Yilth's updated report sent shockwaves through the council. The humans haven't disappeared. They've relocated their entire civilization into stellar environments. They're living inside stars. The implications were staggering. A species that could build habitats within stellar coronas could harness unimaginable energy levels. They could remain completely hidden from conventional sensors. And if they chose to destabilize those stars, the final message arrived exactly 1 galactic standard year after the humans had walked out of the peace talks. It appeared simultaneously on every screen, every communication device, every data pad in hegemony space. Terms for peaceful coexistence follow. They are non-negotiable. Failure to comply will result in the scheduled detonation of every star within 50 light-years of your core worlds. You have 1 standard month to respond. Respectfully, the Solar Collective of Humanity. In the stunned silence that followed, Kethavar found himself laughing, a harsh, bitter sound. We offered them 3 star systems, he said to no one in particular. They went and took every star instead. The galaxy held its breath, waiting to see if humanity would prove as generous in victory as they had been patient in defeat.